Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to a brand new video today. For today's video is about my favourite stadiums in League 2 for this season, for 2024-2025 season. So I've gone for 6 teams that I like going, and obviously the places that I've been. So I've only done 6 because obviously there's like maybe 2 more that I do like, but they're not in this thing because obviously I've seen so many grounds in the past time I've been a Tranmere fan. So obviously I'm going to go for my top 6, and honestly there's some decent grounds in this group. So I'm going to say my first one, and that is going to be that first one is Carlisle United. Carlisle United are a team in League 2 who were in League 1 last season. Their manager is Paul Simpson, who is obviously, he's been there for a few seasons now. Honestly, do I think he's a good manager? I think he's an alright manager, because I think he was like with the England under 21s. I think he was, but honestly, I think he's an okay manager. But obviously with the stadium, I think it's a decent stadium. It's more like a retro stadium from what I've seen. Obviously when I've been about 5 times to that stadium, because every time when I go to that stadium, it's literally like £5 a ticket, and it's literally like a bargain. I remember when it was £4 when I went there. It was just fantastic. Obviously the atmosphere was brilliant the last time I went. Obviously with Tranmere, it was electric. Yes, we didn't win the game, but it was just a great day. Honestly, it was very hot, and yeah, it was just a fantastic day. And obviously seeing things about Carlisle, it's a retro ground because obviously it's been there for years and years and years. It was built in 1909, years and years and years ago. Their capacity is 17,949, and I will be going there early on in the season when we do play them on the 31st of August, which is going to be an exciting game. It opened in September the 2nd in 1909, and obviously it's a great stadium called Brunton Park. And for me, I just think it's a boss stadium because the excitement that I've had there. Obviously, I remember when Paul Mullen scored that wonder goal for Tranmere Rovers a good few seasons ago. Obviously, it was brilliant. I've seen Tranmere Rovers win, I think it was 1-0 or 2-1 there. It was just a fantastic day. Obviously, it's a good ground. Obviously, for wheelchairs, it is fantastic because obviously you're right behind the goal, which is fantastic, even better. Honestly, you can basically meet the players when you're where I was standing. Honestly, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. It's probably one of my favourite away days that I've been on, and obviously I'm very excited to be going there next season, unless if it's still £5 to get in, but we'll just have to see what the price will be. But for me, for a ground being like that, obviously because it holds about 17,000, it's a great crowd. Obviously they've got some great fans, so I'm going to put Carlisle United in 6th, and that is my 6th one. So going into my number 5, and that is Swindon Town, who play at the County Ground. They have been there since 1879. Honestly, they're an okay team. Obviously, with the players that they've had, they're okay. But for me, do I think they're a good team? I don't think they're as good as what everyone says they are. But as a stadium, I like the stadium, obviously, because the times that I've been, it's a great view for wheelchair fans, which is brilliant. And I just think it's a great stadium. But when Tranmere go there, it doesn't always end up like a good day out, obviously, because I just think it's a great ground. Obviously, a decent decent. They've got some decent fans from what I can say. But yeah, it's an okay ground. It holds about 15,000. Sorry, it holds 15,728, which I think is okay for a team like Swindon. Obviously, they're a big club. They're a big run club. Obviously, I think they've had massive debt a few seasons ago, but I think they've already cleared that up now, and I think they're okay to go for next season. So I think they would be okay. Obviously, they've signed a lot of players in this transfer window, from what I've seen. But for me, I think they're like a mediocre club in League Two now for the last few seasons that they've been in. Obviously, they finished in the bottom half of the table most of the seasons. But for me, I would like to see them do well, but I can't see that happening in any time soon. But that is just my opinion on Swindon Town. Obviously, it's a great fan base. Obviously, the first time I went, obviously having a few bevies before the game, obviously in their pub house or whatever you call it, inside the ground, I thought it was decent. But yeah, I'm gonna say Swindon Town in 5th. Going into next is my number 4. So going into my number 4 is the team that I support, and that is Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere Rovers is my team that I support, and I've always supported them since I've actually been to the games. Obviously, my first game was against, I think it was Grimsby, or I think it was Peterborough, in like 2011, I think it was. I can't remember which one was first. Was it the cup game or the league game? I think it was the cup game when we won 4-0 against Grimsby, and I think Craig Cullen scored for Tranmere Rovers and won the games, I think it was. So yeah, and obviously John Olchenberg, who was at Tranmere, that I do remember. So it was a good memory to think of, obviously because they were playing them, and obviously Tranmere Rovers won that game. And then obviously the Peterborough game was, I think it was 1-1 draw. But for me, from being a Tranmere fan, it's been brilliant, obviously fantastic. I've been to Tranmere games ever since that's happened. I love every minute of it. So obviously being a YouTuber is really good. Obviously been doing that for about 5 years, 6 years now, which is the best thing I've ever done in my life. So yeah, obviously Tranmere Rovers were called the Belmont. They were called Belmont or something, I think. Belmont. Tranmere Rovers stadium holds 16,789. Obviously, we don't get that many out of the games at the moment. Obviously, we get about 5,000 to about 7,000, which I could probably say now. Unless we do get about, depending who we play in the games, we possibly get about 10,000, depending what team comes to Prenton Park in the game week. But yeah, obviously Tranmere Rovers have had a lot of legends who came to Tranmere and obviously left Tranmere. So obviously the likes of Ian Goodson, Peter Clark, Steve McNulty, some wonderful players that have played for us, obviously. But yeah, honestly, I love this club more than anything. Yes, I'm a United fan, but that's United. But this is all about League Two stadiums that I've been. Obviously, I think Tranmere, it will always be in my heart, and obviously I do love that ground. Obviously, they do need to do things about the ground, but I'm not going to say much about that. But yeah, I do think Tranmere Rovers will be good in my future, and obviously being a Tranmere fan forever and ever. Tranmere till I die, I will always love you. Whatever happens, win, lose, or draw, I don't care what happens. I will always support you. So that is my number 4, and that is Tranmere Rovers. And that was Prenton Park. So going into my number 3. So going into my number 3 now, and obviously people will think, why have I gone for this stadium? But from what I think of it, I think it's a nice stadium, obviously from what I know, the people are really nice around the stadium, and obviously from where I've been to Colchester's ground for about twice. I think it's one of the nicest grounds in League Two, but that's just my opinion. But other than that, obviously because when I go to the games, obviously I'm right at the top tier for the games. I think it's a great view. Obviously, you can see everything, which is fantastic. Obviously, you can basically see the goal right in front of you. It looks incredible, and you're sitting up really high, and I think it's really good. For me, I just think it's a brilliant stadium. Obviously, the constructional cost was only 14 million to build that stadium, and it was opened in 2008, 4th of August. Their capacity holds 10,105. Obviously, this is a stadium that I do love to keep on going, because I would love to see Tranmere doing something like that. Obviously, when they make their new stadium, I really want to see something like that, obviously, because it would be brilliant if Tranmere could do something like that and make it more stand out and make it stylish, because I think that would make it a great stadium to be in for Tranmere Rovers. But obviously around the ground it looks decent. Obviously there's barely anything around the ground, but other than that it looks decent. The pub house around the ground is decent, but yeah, obviously there's a big TV there as well, which looked really good. So yeah, well, honestly, I can't go to Colchester this season, obviously because I'm on holiday, but it's not the worst thing that's going to happen, because obviously I've been there about twice and it's brilliant. So I'm happy with that, obviously being third. So going into my number 2, and that is going into my number 2 now. Obviously people are going to be thinking, why have I put these in my number 2? I think it's just because obviously they don't get many fans in that stadium. They really don't, because they're not the biggest club in the UK. Obviously they've got a big ground in the UK, 30,000 seat stadium, which is good. 30,500 seats in that stadium. The seats in there are just amazing. Obviously they're like leather seats, which is boss. It's really good. But the only thing about it is, it's just a ground, and it's just basically full of not proper fans. Because I can say this for a fact, people that go MK Dons, they're not a big club, they're not a big run club. They literally took a name off AFC Wimbledon, which they shouldn't have done, and that is one of the problems what they had done. But obviously the ground obviously is like a newish ground. Obviously it was only built in 2007, so it's only been built for a few years, and it's called Stadium MK. Don't get me wrong, it's a great stadium. It's a great stadium. It's had some great attendances in there, like sort of rugby and everything. Obviously they've had concerts in there. Don't get me wrong, it's a great stadium. But for me, I just think it's not the best, because obviously I have seen the best one in League 2, and that was last season. So I'm going to be going into that in a second. So yeah, MK Dons, great stadium, but obviously the things around it obviously is good. Obviously you get like Nando's, I think there's like a Primark there, I'm not too sure. Obviously you get Mackey's, you get KFC, you get all sorts of Costa, you get a cinema around there, which is decent. But the thing is, for a football stadium, it's okay. But for me, I'm going to go into my number 1, and that is so going into my number 1 is the team that are in League 2. They're a good team. They're a good run club. Obviously, they signed a lot of players this season, and that is Bradford City. Bradford City is just a wonderful stadium to go to. Obviously, I've been there about twice or 3 times. Obviously, I've had some great memories there. Obviously, being with one of my mates, Kieran. It was just fantastic going around their stadium. Obviously, being right behind the goal last season, I thought it was just fantastic. Valley Parade is a boss stadium. If you've never been, I'd advise you to go, because it's probably one of the nicest stadiums in League Two, and it's a big stadium. It's a hefty stadium in a good way, because it's massive, and it's just fantastic. So obviously, to get there is just fantastic. Obviously, for the around the place in Bradford, it's not the greatest of places to be, but it's a great ground. From what I've seen of it, it's just fantastic. The capacity is only 24,840, and the biggest that they've done is for the attendance from 1911 when it was there. They played, Bradford played Burnley, the 11th of March 1911, and they had 39,146. That is massive. That is good for a crowd. I think it's brilliant. But for me, obviously, for a League Two stadium, it's fantastic. Because for me, obviously, the amount of times I've been to Bradford, I've loved every minute of it. Even though we didn't win last season at their place. But the first time I went there with my mate, we got a draw, and it was just the feeling when we scored was just amazing. It was quality. Obviously, one of the stewards from Bradford's just saying sit down. I'm like, mate, saying to my mate, sit down, mate. You just celebrating, we just scored in the last minute. Honestly, it was quality. But yeah, it was really, it's a good day out. Obviously, Bradford is a great ground, and I just think it's a better stadium than MK Dons by far. Because obviously, Bradford fans are a lot better. They're probably the best fans in League Two, and that is me what I'm saying. Because I think they're a good club. Obviously, they're a brilliant club round. Obviously, they've had some great players in their time being. But yeah, obviously, they took Andy Cook off us. But yeah, that's the only thing that pissed me off a bit. And obviously, they got Rydal from Tranmere. But yeah, I'm alright with that now. But yeah, other than that, Bradford City is my number one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys into the next video.
Hello, go and like and subscribe to Alex Duncan.